Border Battle podcast, not the King's Corner Sports podcast, as I just said a second ago before we cut that part out. The Border Battle podcast, this was number 002, the second episode, and Chris and I had a great idea. Since we ran way over time on the men's basketball talk from last week, we said, here's a brilliant idea. Let's take a topic, set a set amount of time we want to spend on that topic, and then you listeners will hear a horn. When you hear that horn, that means we have to stop talking about the podcast or the topic and move on to the next one. It'll keep us on task and hopefully make sure that we don't run over our 30-minute, that's kind of what we want to set. So 15 minutes on our first topic, 10 on the second one, 5 on the last one. Chris will be keeping track, and then you guys will hear a horn when we're done talking about it, and Chris will let us know. Hopefully Chris pays attention, and if we don't go way over.
I almost wish my phone had, maybe there's something I have to look for, is like a horn actual ringtone. Yeah. So it just had that bomb, but of course it doesn't. So yeah, we'll just play it by what my stopwatch tells me.
Throw it in post-production. So there you go. First topic is NFL, 15 minutes. Chris, go. So for the NFL, obviously we're going to talk a lot of Super Bowl, but I did want to mention this. Chris, we'll get your thoughts on these. Pepsi Rookie of the Year, New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley. FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year. Saquon Barkley wins that again, and that is Players of the Year, so that is out of all the NFL, not just rookies. And then Patrick Mahomes, he wins the Air Player of the Year. AP Defensive Player of the Year, LA Rams DT. Aaron Donald, Salute to Service Award presented by USAA guard Ben Garland from the Falcons. AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, Saquon Barkley, so he swept the Rookie of the Year honors on the offensive side. AP Offensive Player of the Year, Kansas City Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes. Game Changer Award presented by Gillette, Shaquem Griffin. So that's an interesting one from Seattle. He's the one with just one hand. And interesting that it's, presented by Gillette because Gillette also sponsors Shaquem Griffin. So, or whatever, Griffin.
Rigged? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, maybe. I'm just saying it.
The votes were in his favor.
I'm just saying it's funny that that's how that ends up, and Griffin I think endorses them. Is how you would say that. So AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, Darius Leonard he's the linebacker from the Colts. He beats out Derwin James of the LA Chargers. Sorry. Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2019: Champ Bailey, Pat Bolin, Gil Brandt, Tony Gonzalez, Ty Law, Kevin Mawai, Ed Reed, Johnny Robinson. Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Year, LA Rams, no surprise there. Moment of the Year, Aaron Rodgers, come back over the Bears in Week 1. Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, New Orleans Saints QB Drew Brees. Comeback Player of the Year, Andrew Luck, no surprise there. Coach of the Year, Vic Fangio, Chicago Bears defensive coordinator for that, the top defense, what everyone thought was the top defense in the league. Where am I? Bridgestone Clutch Performance Play of the Year, the Miami Miracle. Deacon Jones Award, Aaron Donald gets that. Touchdown Celebration of the Year? That's a thing?
Oh, which team won it?
Seattle for that was the one where they were standing in a line and doing a college or a high school dance team.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe the Vikings would with their whole limbo line.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Well, you didn't have to.
Well, I don't like anything that Adam Thielen does. Don Shula NFL High School Coach of the Year Award, Gabe Infante from St. Joseph's Prep. Courtyard Unstoppable Performance of the Year, Jared Goff. AP Coach of the Year, Matt Nagy from the Chicago Bears. AP Most Valuable Player, Patrick Mahomes. Walter Payton Man of the Year, not Kyle Rudolph, although Kyle Rudolph got a big donation to his charity because of the Twitter.
He was like the top fan vote or something.
Yeah, it was like if you supported someone, you send out tweets based on, and he ended up winning that, so he got a big donation anyway. But defensive end from Philadelphia, Chris Long wins that. So, what steps? What does
did it say on that with the Walter Payton? Who was the top 3 or anything like that? No, that's probably just a.
It didn't say that for any of them. So.
Yeah, well, I know because I know there's a few like you said with Rookie of the Year, which was Leonard of the Colts. I know I saw some of that. He beat out James from, like you said, the LA Chargers.
Yeah, and that was just I I'm just assuming that he did in this.
Well, that's who he did though. Like they had
finalist votes or whatever.
Yeah, at least for those who I saw, he was second, just like Patrick Mahomes beat out Drew Brees.
Okay,
Drew Brees was second. One thing I wanted to say, Sportsman of the Year. I don't know if you saw it earlier today, but they made Drew Brees pick who was going to win the Super Bowl. Okay, because he's in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had his little face, Woody and all those other guys had already made their picks. They made him choose. He went, obviously, with the Patriots.
Obviously.
The look on his face, though, having to make that pick. So he, turns around, puts it on, and he looks back. Honestly, I thought Drew Brees could have cried. It was one of those genuine, why do I have to be here right now? It was just, honestly, whenever you hear this, even for you, Jordan, you have to just look at it just to see his reaction, because it's one of those most genuine, I feel for you, man.
Yeah. Good for him. I mean, it's a rough life for him, and I know he and Sean Payton were staying over at each other. No, I'm just kidding. Do you hear Sean Payton said he wouldn't come out of his room for a week, and he was eating ice cream and stuff.
I did not hear that.
He was getting over a tough breakup. What sounded like so.
Yeah, no, there really wasn't a lot of surprises. Patrick Mahomes, that was a given.
Unfortunately,
in my eyes, Saquon Barkley was
I think it was the wrong choice.
Really? For a running back? For
Offensive Player of the Year.
Well,
Offensive Rookie of the Year, pardon me.
Okay. Would you think Baker?
Baker Mayfield.
Well, I was going to say that would be my only other person would be, but I know what your argument is going to be here.
What?
Your argument is going to be you have to take in
positional difficulty.
Positional difficulty, how they help their team out.
Yes.
And the fact is, as a running back, you don't have as much on your shoulders as a quarterback does. A quarterback is the leader of your team. He drives the boat, whatever.
Well, and not just that, Chris. It is a lot easier to learn a playbook as a running back than it is as a quarterback. Quarterback, you got to learn 2-minute, and I'm not saying there aren't 2-minute offenses but the running back, I mean, come on. You learn the blocking scheme, you learn where you go, and the rest is just raw physical ability. And we knew Saquon Barkley had that. We knew that. Baker Mayfield has raw athletic ability as well. One of the most exciting, if not the most exciting rookie on the year, up against Saquon Barkley again for that award. But he was able to take a 1-31 over the past two seasons for the Cleveland Browns. And what does he do with them? He almost gets them in the playoffs. At the most important position on the field. A position that we haven't seen an MVP from outside of that position in a long time. So I just find it really tough to believe that it's not Baker Mayfield.
Well, and face it, this is the first time the Browns have not finished last in the AFC North, probably since the early 2000s when they last made the playoffs, give or take. Somewhere in there. Two things, though. A, I am surprised how Saquon Barkley's game actually did transition pretty well to the NFL. I felt there'd maybe be a little bit of a learning curve. I mean, he's a freak athlete. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you ever see his stature, I mean, he is built.
No doubt. NFL body.
But he was so good in college that sometimes you just wonder, okay, is his hype going to get there? It's just like the Baker Mayfield hype. You could say the same thing. Baker Mayfield, I think it's safe to say, so far was the best overall quarterback in that draft so far.
No doubt.
And
it's not close.
Well, and people can't say, he actually had a decent team. He does not have a good offensive team at all. I mean, it's getting there now. It's getting there now. I think Jarvis Landry was a lot more.
Big pickup.
Yeah, he was a big pickup, a lot more than people think or want to give credit to, because he had on and off in Miami, but what did he have? A quarterback that could get him the ball.
Shocker.
Ryan Tannehill is not
bad quarterback.
And Baker could get him the ball when needed to be. Nick Chubb started to come out. Kenyon Drake, right? Or no, that's Dolphins.
That's back in Miami.
That's back in Miami. He used to.
He was with Jarvis Landry, so I see where you get mixed up there.
I'm trying to think. Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson is still there, yeah. And they started out the year, and again they started out the year with Carlos Hyde, who they signed off of the free agent market, and they decided that Nick Chubb was coming along at such a nice clip. Here's the thing: the three most promising pieces in that Browns offense are all rookies. Rookie Baker Mayfield, rookie Nick Chubb, and rookie Antonio Callaway as a wide receiver. Now, Callaway's got a lot of character issues. He had the gun charges in the summer. He's had drug issues. He got kicked out of Florida. There's a lot of character issues there, but if he can overcome them, he's going to be. This is why I own him in every fantasy league that I have so far. I own Antonio Callaway. He's an absolutely raw talent and going to be really good down the road if he can keep his nose clean. but it's something we said about Justin Blackmon. If you can keep his nose clean, going to be a hell of a wide receiver in the NFL. That's a big if, and it's not a given for anyone, let alone them. What are we at? 9 minutes in?
Yep, 9 minutes.
We have 6 minutes to talk about the Super Bowl, so we do have to move on unless you have
No, I would say there's nothing else that was surprising. Coach of the year, all that stuff. Defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald was the best all season.
Yeah, I'm a Packer fan. You're a Viking fan. I have see nothing wrong giving it to both coaches of the year going to two Bears players. I thought Nagy was brilliant as the head coach, and there's a reason Vic Fangio is now the head coach out in Denver.
Yeah. Last two things too. Tony Gonzalez, Ed Reed. Not that anyone else was a bad choice in that Hall of Fame class. Two first ballot Hall of Famers deserve to be in. I was glad to see that when I saw, especially those two got in. Best thing that can happen so far for this year.
Yeah, we'll get more into that maybe in a future episode because I want to talk about the Hall of Fame class and I think we will over the summer. We'll probably still be doing this, so talk about that when it gets closer. We are 10 minutes into this segment, so we got 5 minutes to talk about the Super Bowl. Didn't leave ourselves a ton of time.
That's right.
What do you think about this? If you had to give a prediction, don't give it now, but we'll get to that in a second. But set us up for your prediction.
My prediction right here: experience trumps talent.
Don't bring politics into this, Chris. We don't need to talk about Trump. No, I'm just kidding. As soon as you were like, Trump? No, yeah, I agree with you. And that's not to say that there is no talent on the New England Patriots team. And I know you didn't mean that by that comment, but the more talented team, there probably is a little bit more talent on the Los Angeles Rams. But we've seen it many, many times. It's not always the most talented team that wins. Because even when I would argue the Patriots might have been the more talented team, at least for sure on the first time the Giants beat them in the Super Bowl when they were trying to go 19-0. Patriots had the more talented team. It's not like the Patriots have always been here as the underdog. They've gone in as the favorite a lot of times, and I know they're the favorite now, but I just found that interesting.
Well, and for me, that was the one narrative I actually didn't care for, was the fact that they were playing this whole underdog, we're still here. Because at the end,
like that?
I
love that.
I didn't, just for the fact of, okay, you were in nine straight AFC Championship games.
Sure.
You are 5-3 in the playoffs or Super Bowl right now. It's just the fact that I will never assume the Patriots are an underdog.
Right?
No, they're
5-3.
They're 5-3. 5-3. Because
unless you're assuming you're already putting that.
No, 5-3 because they could technically be either 0-8 or 8-0 because their point differential for the Super Bowl victories was 4.25.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Which is crazy. But no, for all the success they have, I can't go against the Patriots until Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are not on that sideline. I can't, and I think it's safe to say now, the Patriots don't have the defense that the Broncos did when Peyton Manning's last year in Super Bowl 50 when he went out as a champion, because Peyton Manning was throwing dead ducks.
No doubt. Noodle arm.
And that's kind of how Tom Brady's slowly getting. I mean, there's been drop-off. I think next year we're going to see a lot more. But
I threw dirt on these guys earlier in the playoffs, Chris, and it was the stupidest thing I've done in my sports radio career, was pronouncing the New England Patriots dead. I did that earlier this year. I said there is no way they score more than 14 points on the Los Angeles Chargers. You know how many they hung on them?
48?
41.
41.
They took my number and switched it around. And that was the last time. That's it. There is no way I'm going to pick against the Patriots in this game. There's absolutely no way, and there's a reason for that. We have 2 minutes here. 2 minutes left in the segment to talk about whatever you want.
Well, all I was going to say is, so you're cheering for the Patriots?
Well, yeah, I guess, because the Rams shouldn't be there.
Well, okay, and see, because people are like, oh, I bet you're going to cheer for the Rams. And I was like, no, I'm going to cheer for the Patriots only because of the way the Rams got in. Now, again, I've said this, the Saints did it to themselves. It's the fact that play happened. Being that play happened, that's the only reason why I'm taking it out on the Rams. Is like, the game, we talked about, if Brady had the same kind of setup that Drew Brees did, and you spot Brady 21 points, 21-0 lead in the first half, you're done.
Yeah, no
Tom
doubt.
Brady is not relinquishing that lead.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And my thing is, I don't care. I don't care about the fact that oh, well, it probably shouldn't have been. You can blame the Saints. I don't blame the Saints. The Saints shouldn't have been running there. Everyone said, well,
throwing there, you mean?
Or no, they should have thrown there. I have no problem with them throwing. Everyone's like, oh, you should stupid play calling Sean Payton.
At the end, though. We're talking at the end?
Yes. You're supposed to be running the ball. I hear that from everyone. I heard it from your co-host on Last Call, Reed Spencer. I heard him say, well, it's stupid to pass the ball there. Why is it stupid to do the one thing that has gotten you where you have wanted to go? What is the one thing that has gotten you there? The right arm of number 9 in the black and gold. Right. We have 40 seconds, Chris.
Right. No, and all I was going to say, too, is the fact that if they make those throws, if that first down throw to Michael Thomas, if that's a completion, you look like a genius.
No doubt about it.
What's your prediction?
30 seconds left, 31-34. It goes to overtime. The LA Rams kick a field goal. Both teams get to possess the ball, and the Patriots win on a walk-off. 37-yard touchdown to Rob Gronkowski, and he retires after the game.
33-27, Patriots win. They're going to be on the right side of the score from last year. I agree. Gronk will also be retiring if they win the Super Bowl.
MVP, real quick.
Tom Brady.
It has to be Tom Brady. It's a cop-out answer. I also think James White should have won it 2 years ago. And there's the horn right there. So we will move on. 10 minutes for our second segment here, Chris. I'll let you get that rolling right now. And second segment here, we're talking about a big loss here for the Oklahoma State men's basketball team against Kansas State. And I mean a big loss. It was like 19 points that they ended up losing by.
75-57.
18 points. This is embarrassing. And I know that this is a team in Kansas State that was a preseason team expected to compete, and Dean Wade was supposed to be the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, and Barry, whatever his name is, Barry Brown Jr. is a great player, and I know that they're a better team. They're not 18 points, or they shouldn't be 18 points better in Gallagher-Iba Arena, and they were today.
Look, now, you and I have talked about this narrative a long, long time, and I'm not trying to use this as an excuse, but the fact that, I guess Kansas State technically only played 7 players as well. They played the Cowboys game of they each played, they've each played 7 guys, so you can't fully take the whole
people keep bringing this up as an excuse, and it's crap. It's crap. If you didn't want this to be the scenario, if you didn't want it to only be 7 guys available to you, then you shouldn't have brought in guys that had character issues. And if you did your job and you didn't bring them, you thought they were good guys and they turned on you when they got here, that's one thing. There's 10 guys that were in this program a year ago that have since left. Some forewent their eligibility to go pro overseas in SEMA and Shine. Some have transferred out, and then you've had to kick off a fair amount of people. Some not your guys, some have been your guys. So good teams don't use more than 7 or 8 guys anyways. Kansas doesn't use. Yes, last year Kansas goes to the Final Four. They used 8 guys. The majority of the time, they used 7 guys to get there to the Final Four. So to me, it gets to a point where you got to stop blaming fatigue because it's a crap argument.
Yeah, well, and I think the biggest takeaway, though, from this game is Dean Wade of Kansas State. The fact that you go 9 of 9, 3 of 3 from deep, 24 points, 30 minutes, 6 boards, 3 assists. I mean, the fact that happens, too, I mean, that 24 points already makes a big difference.
Yeah, no doubt. And Dean Wade came into this game, he had like a career combination of... He might have outscored his career scoring output at GIA in this game alone. He has been awful at GIA throughout his career. Hasn't been very good at all against the Cowboys. But today he was hitting, and very rarely do you miss 3 shots and they're all free throws.
Yeah, no. Now, I want to ask you this, because I did not watch the game. I will say this, Dean's points per game is actually 13.6.
Well, but that's this year.
No, right, but I'm just saying even this year he
hasn't been the
doubled,
Dean Wade, right? Yeah.
But is Duncan DeMuth showing that he is not quite ready to play at this level yet. I mean, he played, and I don't know if he got injured. He only played a minute.
Yeah, he played a minute. He was dealing with stuff, according to Tom Dorado in the pregame show, the Furniture Showcase pregame show on Triple Play Sports Radio earlier today, also 2 hours before every home game. Tune into that. It's good stuff. Tom said Duncan had been dealing with some sort of back issue, and he didn't practice a whole heck of a lot this week, so you probably use it to keep trying to make sure that he's okay, because, again, depth is going to be an issue if you lose another guy and you can only go 6 deep, because Luke Major played 4 minutes as a walk-on. That's not ideal.
Well, and let's face it, at that point, that was probably garbage minutes.
Right, so really, Oklahoma State only played 6 players today.
Yeah, and do you think Taylor will ever get in? Travis Taylor, I think is his name. He
walk on.
Yeah, walk on. He was a basketball manager and just someone to sit on their.
To me, I don't think that's beneficial to the team. If he's not, I mean, I just don't know. You're bringing these guys in for the majority of the time to make sure that you can practice. That's their number one thing. Yes, you give him a jersey. It's a cool story. He's going to be able to talk about this for the rest of his life, that he was an Oklahoma State Cowboy. Yeehaw, congratulations. I just don't see him being a guy that's going to be able to help them in some positive way in Big 12 play.
I think another person where you kind of, you almost have to have some cause for concern potentially is Isaac Likely. Yes, he's only a freshman, but, 1 of 6. I think he's averaging the past, how many games? Probably 4.5 shots, 5 shots. And now I get it. Your upperclassmen, DeZagua, Waters, and McGriff, they're going to take most of your shots. Those 3 combined took 28 shots. But you're 1 of 6. You had 2 boards, 2 points, and 7 assists, which 7 assists, okay, great. You're kind of, but as a team, you only had 13 total. 10 assists from your starting 5. I mean, it doesn't help, though. McGriff going 3 of 10 and DeZagua going 3 of 8 doesn't help you either, though.
No. And Cam and DeZagua have both been kind of, I don't know. They have not been impressive by any stretch of the imagination this year. I'll tell you why Isaac Likely does not concern me at all. 7 assists, no turnovers. 7 assists, no turnovers. That's what you're asking him. That's what you're asking him to do, right?
Right. No, I'm talking about more of a scoring thing, though, because I feel like at some point,
but that's where we kind of need to decide here. What do you need him to be? Ideally, you're going to get your points from those big 3, and then Curtis Jones coming off the bench. I think he had 16 tonight. When he comes off the bench, he's going to be another scorer, and that's his role.
Well, yeah. Well, that and Yor. I mean, Yor had another good game. He had 9 points, 6 boards, I believe it was. 5 boards, excuse me. Which, I mean, you'd want to see like 10 boards out of him.
The glass a little more.
But and I get that. I just think at some point though, you really have to, sit down with Isaac and go, okay, this is what we need you to do. And I do agree, no turnovers. You want to see that, especially out of a freshman. Yeah. You can tell he's slowly, he's starting to get the pace and stuff. But you have to find, okay, who's going to be, besides Curtis Jones coming off the bench, who's going to be the guy to pick up the slack if McGriff, DeZagua, and Waters do have bad games?
Yeah, but at what expense? Because, again, like you mentioned, it's not like shots are easy to come by in this offense. Because Waters going to get his 10, 12 shots a game. Cam's going to try to dominate the ball, and DeZagua's going to jack up some shots that he really shouldn't jack up.
I want to ask you this now. Are we finally seeing the DeZagua that everyone knew was there all along?
Yes.
Like that he's definitely coming back down to earth of like, okay, he started out good, but that was like let's be real here. DeZagua, he's a capable guy coming off the bench for a couple minutes.
You know why he played so well against South Carolina? They didn't guard him.
Yeah.
They didn't guard him. You guard DeZagua hard, he doesn't get shots up. Now he gets up
his game.
Yeah, he gets up more shots than some other players. But my thing is at what expense? And I don't want Isaac Likely to all of a sudden be in a situation where he feels like he's pressing a little more than he has to, and all of a sudden he gets another 6 shots up a game, but at the expense of playing like Michael Weathers and turning over 3 or 4 times trying to get down into the paint because he can't shoot. He can't shoot a 3.
Right. Well, but I think part of Weathers' issue, and I get where you're going, and this is probably what you're going to respond back when I say this. But the thing with Weathers is sometimes he played out of control. Like he almost tried to make plays happen that weren't there. And
that's where I don't want that. I don't want that to happen to Ice.
And that's what I was saying, because to me, Weathers was kind of that comparable to Joe Ingles of the Utah Jazz, because they always say how he'll try and make like a random pass that looks like there's nothing there, and sometimes he's successful and it looks phenomenal, but most of the time he's not. So he has 4 turnovers a game because he's trying to make these throws that something out of nothing.
I'll tell you what, you're being pretty kind to it's a pretty kind comparison for Michael Weathers to compare him to an NBA player when he can't even stay on a Division I roster.
I'm just saying the way he played, play styles.
I know, and I don't want to stick too much on guys that aren't around anymore, but you're absolutely right, and that's what I don't want Ice to turn into. If he's growing comfortably into his game, this was never going to be a team that ended up playing for a national title. That's not what this team is ever going to do.
Well, and we have about 45 seconds here. The thing is, though, for me is with Isaac, like, yes, you want him, if he can be a good distributor, that's great. But at times, I almost, after a while, and I get it, he's only a freshman, but I want him to be able to get to that next level with his shooting. I want him to be that two-way threat on offense.
It's a huge problem.
Where it's like, okay, in a couple of years, if you stay till you're a junior and you don't transfer, well, after next year, DeZaga, Waters, and McGriff are gone. They're gone.
Exactly.
And so at some point, though, that jump shot of his has to get up.
Well, if you play in 2019 and you can't shoot a 3, that's a huge issue. That's a huge issue. We just saw it, and we will continue to see it with Ice until he helps this team out. Horn coming in 3, 2, 1. You want to know a disgusting stat? There's the Horn, 36-26. They got out-rebounded. We got to move on. So that is absolutely unbelievable. 5 minutes here. We'll give 5 good minutes on the Phoenix Open, presented by Waste Management. I don't know why I say that. I don't know why I ever say sponsorship things on here, because it's like, I don't care about waste management. Like, I care about recycling, guys. I'm not saying that people are going to take this and, Jordan. I don't care about Waste Management, the company. Okay, I just don't. I don't care that they're a sponsor of the Phoenix Open. But anyways, Rickie Fowler, my goodness, what a weekend for him so far. I'm trying to find the thing here, because it was just up on my phone, and as I have switched back, there it is, Rickie Fowler at 20 under. Is this the year, Chris? That's how we're going to start every year from here on out, Chris.
I know.
That's how we're going to start it.
We're all waiting. My thing with Rickie is he always starts out really good, but he can never finish. He always has a couple good rounds, and where he's right up there, and then it's just like things collapse. It's kind of like how what Tiger's comeback has been at times. You see him do really well. He gets he makes it to the final round. He's like, oh, this is great, and then he just struggles, and like the consistency isn't always there. And so for me, it's can I keep my hopes up and think, yeah, this is finally it. It's finally time for Rickie to take it all, take it home. Let's go.
Yeah, and again, a win here. Who cares? It's the Phoenix Open. It's a great tournament to win. Don't get me wrong, but
it's FedEx Cup's points.
Well, yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I don't really care about that either.
I do.
Well, hey, look, Rickie's a good enough golfer that he's going to average enough points. Wins don't make a difference in the FedEx Cup. It just doesn't.
The only thing
is it the FedEx Cup?
Well, that's all these. That's what the points go to. Was the FedEx Cup? You get like
I thought
points.
That was NASCAR.
No, that's the Monster.
Oh.
Monster's the primary sponsor for
Monster Energy Cup. That's what that is.
Yeah, something like that.
For whatever reason, I guess whatever. Anyways, Matthew Wolff, he's the amateur in the field, the only amateur. He shot a 1/72 today. He's still sitting at 4 under, tied for 45th. My goodness, he'd be making some good money if he was a professional. Alex Noren, another Oklahoma State alumnus, 2 under today. So that gets him tied for 52nd at 3 under. And trying to find, I think those were the only 3 Oklahoma State alumni.
I thought you said 4. Wasn't there 4?
Rickie, Wolff, and Noren are the only 3 that I counted.
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, I thought there was 4.
Well, there was 8 in the field, so let me see if I can find the ones through the cuts.
Oh, that's right, because there would have been cuts. I forgot.
Morgan Hoffman, he got cut. Kevin Tway. There's Gooch. He was a Oklahoma State guy, so that's 3 guys already that were cut. I'm just going through here. This is a great preparation for this podcast by Jordan. Maybe I missed it. Oh, there's Uline. There's 4 that were cut, so we're up to 7. So there's one guy that we missed that either we missed that got cut or is still in the field. But nonetheless, I believe the second-ranked Oklahoma State guy, quote-unquote, is an amateur, is still playing college golf.
Oh, Wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look where it was, but there was a stat that he was included in, and again, that's more of me trying to think. Okay, where I don't remember where it was, but here we go. So for the debut rounds on the PGA Tour, I don't know if you saw this.
Yep.
Real quick, it was Jack Nicklaus had an 80, Phil Mickelson at 74, Tiger Woods 72, Jordan Spieth 68, Justin Thomas 65, Matt Wolff with a 67. The intimidation factor that was prevalent back when the PGA Tour, had, for decades, I think it's gone.
You want to know why that intimidation factor was there for a long time?
Because Tiger Woods?
There's a guy named Tiger Woods. That was really, really good. Where are we at time-wise, Chris? I know we got to be running down here pretty quick.
We have about 40 seconds.
40 seconds. Let's wrap this thing up. We'll wrap up the entire podcast here in these 40 seconds. Final thoughts. What are you watching? Is there anything this week you're looking forward to?
Like weekday week or?
Well, just in the coming days that you're excited that maybe we'll get to talk about next week.
The results of the Super Bowl sports bets? Prop bets, because I have done every single one. All 180. Now there's 184. There's about 3 more. There was a bet on if Gronk was going to retire.
Yeah. I did a bunch of them as well. We did them on the afternoon sports drive. We cut them down, though. Just because we had so much to talk about over the course of the week. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that as too. There's the horn a couple seconds ago. Appreciate the horn guy now. And I will get that on my phone. I'll get a horn sound effect, and I have a little mini board on my phone, so I'll be able to play the horn in future episodes. But thanks to the great folks at King's Corner Sports for allowing us to use their studios today.
Yeah, and don't forget about Top Notch Franchises, man. They're good.
In the spare bedroom of my apartment, so thanks to them. But for Chris Notch, Jordan King, it's the border battle. Good luck, Patriots. We're still here.
We're still here.
And people want us gone, so here we go. We are gone now. The border battle on Triple Play Sports Podcast Network.